Good evening, guys, and welcome to some PTCGO gameplay with End1 for Game. I was collaborating with a Twitch streamer. His name is Nick of GreatVibesInside. He runs a stream about 5 nights a week. If I remember, Monday, Tuesday, he starts about midnight after some WoW raids, and then other nights he runs a little bit longer. He runs till 3, 4 in the morning. So we've been looking just to try to test some Darkness Ablaze team-up format, team-up Darkness Ablaze. So we got together and we did a collaboration with his stream. I'm going to link that in the comments section below. But, you know, hopefully you guys enjoy this. I've done it a little differently than I normally do, where I've already got the gameplay recorded and I'm kind of going back over some of the gameplay. Had a chance to talk to Nick about the plays he was making, as well as, you know, kind of seeing where the plays I made went, you know, talk about things that went well, went wrong, all sorts of things like that. So, to give you a little background on this first video, where Nick plays Cinescorch pretty exclusively right now, and I'm playing Eternatus. I went first, and outside of the Great Ball, I don't remember what 2 other cards I played, and it was pretty much me digging for an Eternatus to get that first turn energy attachment, and which I miss. And so we're going to actually pick up on Nick's turn here. Yeah, we ended up playing best of 3 with this, and then with ADP Zacian versus Cinescorch. So let us know how you like it, and if you get a chance, check him out on Twitch. Again, his Twitch stream is GreatVibesInside. It's a very fun and you know, good place to be. So at this point, Nick has dug out pretty much kind of what he wanted to start the turn with. He's got his Flare starter going. He's got a Cinescorch on the bench. He's got the Hearth set up. He's just kind of clearing out his deck a little bit with trying to get some extra attachments. You'll kind of find in this video that Nick had like the worst luck with turbo patches. And this Marnie ends up being a little bit better for me. My last hand was not that great without a guaranteed Eternatus. One thing that I found in playing this was I've been playing 3 Eternatus VMAX because I've just been reluctant to try the 4th, and the amount of times that I end up missing the VMAX made me finally come to the terms to go ahead and play it. So speaking of, you know, we get the VMAX here and we finally find that Eternatus V. And, you know, my game plan at this point is let's see how much of what we can get on. I think what my thought process here was if I can switch into this Eternatus and at least power accelerator to another Eternatus, it might feel a little bit better. Which, you know, if I was thinking that through a little better, I would have kept the dark energy, but yeah, didn't really get anything of note here. I just go ahead and bump his stadium to put myself in a slightly better place. And, you know, my hand's okay to hold for next turn, but, you know, it's just not feeling good yet. So, you know, checking my discard pile, Nick goes ahead and he gets his Cinescorch back after his Marnie. He's now hitting for 200 damage with that Cinescorch. And then he's got his way to switch out, and he day-days, and he's, you know, he's hoping for like a boss's orders here. And if I remember, he does end up getting this. I can talk a little faster than the video and Nick's gameplay, because Nick is, you know, obviously commenting on his channel while he's, you know, playing through the turns. So we're just kind of waiting to let Nick make his gameplay here. Yep, and there goes the boss's orders. He's able to get 200 damage on my V. You know, I think at this point I kind of just decided that my best course of action was to try to to make a gambit of going for 5 Zigzagoon hits onto his Cinescorch and taking him out with Dread. And it doesn't end up working if I remember correctly. But, you know, we kind of set ourselves up in a good place that we could finish that off later on. I think we even whiff like the 270 damage, and that whiff on the 270 just comes from not being able to grab anything else on the bench right now. I think I'm able to go ahead and grab myself the Crobat here to try to go for one more guy to hit the 270. And so maybe I do hit the 270 here, but either way, it's kind of inconsequential. I'm burning the Rod, 1, just to have better chances at drawing energy for the follow-up turns, and 2, to get one more card off of the Crobat V. So here I get to draw 4 cards, and I kind of with everything that I could possibly want to make this feel okay. And I think I'm kind of even sitting here thinking, like, do I hide this guy and not hit any damage? But I kind of feel like that's like the weaker of the options, even though it's going to keep me from ever really being able to follow up on that idea of finishing him off with Zigzagoon. So, I just hit in, leaving him with 70 damage left, and it's on to his turn. He gets a Heatran down, and he's like, I'd rather sacrifice 2 prizes with the Steaming Stomp. I think he actually goes for Hot Burn here, which I'm not sure I entirely would have agreed with, just because he could have saved it to get like the fresh Eternatus, but he wasn't really thinking the thought process through that well. He was kind of just thinking, the 2 prize trade-off was better. And I don't, 100% disagree with him that, losing 2 prizes versus 3 was better, but like I said, I think I just would have saved the GX attack to, and here he goes, and he does the GX attack. Oh, that's right, he would have been 10 damage shy just using Hot Burn, because I have 340 hit points, or Steaming Stomp. So, it makes sense. So this Grimer is a card that I've seen starting to get some more use in different decks. I personally like it after I've had a chance to try it. I definitely played it when I was playing Snorlax VMAX and Expanded, so, there's a little love for it there. So, here I am, again, trying to reestablish a VMAX, thinking that, if I had the VMAX in hand, being able to use that comm to get myself a Crobat would have felt a lot better in the long run. But here I go, grabbing an Absol, making it a little bit harder for him to retreat. I'm kind of reevaluating some Zigzagoon damage here, and I think I kind of end up wasting this damage. No, I get on the fresh one, so that's good. And then I collect just to get a couple extra cards, because every Marnie he's played has just been really crippling. So here he goes back on his turn. Wuthering, I think he does it to the fresh Cinescorch. Yeah, he goes to the fresh Cinescorch. Trying to get himself just some more options for, when one of these Cinescorches eventually goes down. I kind of left myself at the point where what I was kind of gambling on was being able to smack into one of them, reset stamp them, Assault Gate to get the knockout on one, and then just be able to clean up the other one. So yeah, Piers is a card that I've played around with in a lot of builds, and I go back and forth on, do I play it, do I not play it? And right now, after this game, I decided that I wanted to try some more games without it. Yeah, I think this kind of comes to the conclusion of the game here. He gets the knockout on the Grimer. I pretty much have to go searching for a Crobat to even be able to attack this turn. He's got 2 Cinescorches that are able to knock out my Crobats on the bench. And next turn, if I remember correctly, he grabs the boss's orders and is able to finish off a Crobat for game. So yeah, this was like just the bad. And I'm thinking I can boss his orders here, grab either one of these Cinescorches. Probably looking at the one with the less damage, just because like now you can kind of have different plays in mind. But I also kept him from having to worry about switch, and he's just able to go ahead and slam the boss's orders down and get my Crobat off the field. So that was game 1. And so he goes up in the first bit of the series. Kind of talk about this series on his stream afterwards, where we both kind of have just bad starts, and I think game 2 is his bad start, and game 3 is the like one good game out of this set. Now in game 2, and I'm I'm fairly certain it's game 2 because I think that's what made us go to game 3. Is you're going to see Nick miscalculate some damage with Hot Burn. He's going to go in and he is only going to move 6 energy to his Heatran. It does keep me in the game, but we kind of said before we started all this that we wanted to play it like we were playing a tournament, and capitalizing on your opponent's mistakes is part of a tournament. I think we were recording this right around midnight. Both of our times, we're both Eastern time zone players. So he was a little tired after raiding, and I was usually asleep by this time, but I kind of wanted to get some new content for the channel. So anyway, he ends up dropping a Hot Burn on me that deals only 300 damage, and in the long run, it probably cost him the game, but it may not have. We kind of just talk back and forth on that where, it's just more likely. So here we are playing the Great Balls, trying to get something. The Eternatus and the Crobat are ideal. We grab the Eternatus, we have the capture energy to go ahead and get another guy onto the field. I think I grab a second Eternatus just so I don't kind of run into that place that I did last game where I wasn't able to have an Eternity Zone, Infinity Zone to keep my bench after that. And yeah, it just was one of those things where that's the route I decided to go. I could have got a Crobat this turn, but there wasn't anything else that I really needed to do this turn. I got 2 Eternituses, I got energy. He didn't have a Cinescorch for me to try to rack up damage with Zigzagoon real quick. That could have come back to bite me when he plays the Smarty, but overall, as you can see, I top deck out of it fairly well. I've got the Dark City, I've got Scoopnet, I've got Hiding Dark Energy. So, here we go into this turn, and I top deck Appears, which guarantees me the VMAX if I want it, and I don't remember if I go that route because I was thinking I need just some more draw cards. I'm likely to hit the VMAX anyway. I haven't seen too much yet, and yep, there we go. We get the communications, but I think part of it is I'm gonna have to grab Crobat. I communicate the Crobat again to Thin Hands, and this is one where Nick kind of asked me following the game. I end up stamping him from 5 cards to 6 cards to grab just another card off of Crobat because I feel like hitting the 4th Pokemon, just hitting some extra cards here was going to be helpful. I thought it was a push play, but not really. The only thing I could really do after getting it was trying to rack some damage up on Cinescorch against Zigzagoons. And, I've got a supporter in hand for next turn. So, I go ahead, grab the Zigzagoon, get some more chip damage up on that Cinescorch. And it did end up meaning that I missed the VMAX. And this, again, kind of gets to where I'm like, I really just need to play a 4th one of these. So I kind of have to just leave Zigzagoon active. But I've got plenty of options for next turn, and it's another one of those turns of if I miss the VMAX again, it's going to feel really bad. There were so many times in this set that I did miss the VMAX, and it really prompted me to say, I guess I do need a 4th one. So I've been, tinkering around with the Eternatus build a lot from like the very beginning of what you saw when we did our trial series. So my Eternatus looks a lot different now, just watching some other people play it, watching some things. Zamazenta being a lot more problematic when you don't have Yveltal to take care of it. So now play a Sableye. Because Crazy Claws gets some good numbers off. Load Search, I think is the name of his first attack, is pretty good. I'm not playing it in this set, however, so you won't see it come up at any point. Again, he gets a Welder, he's gained some more energy on his Cinescorches, and he's kind of just ready to like, all right, let me just smack the Zigzagoon and get it off the field. So, I'm kind of left again going into an Eternatus. I kind of think that, I'll throw this one up that's fresh, give it the high darkness energy that's going to get anyway, and decide to go ahead and research. And as you see, I'm still missing the VMAX here. Like, how many times I miss cards in this, miss the VMAX in this, it hurt. Like, so I'm just kind of like, let me keep thinning some cards, because I know I'm going to like quick ball for the Crobat here, getting rid of one of the Eternatus. And then I'm even like, I guess I'm going to take you from 5 cards to 7 cards, so I'd rather this reset stamp come up later in the game. Then, I go ahead and throw the Crobat down. I could have used the Hearth to, go again. But again, we're still missing the VMAX here. And, this game was just looking helpless at this point. So I'm like, let me just Power Accelerator, throw some extra energy down, not waste like another turn of being able to do anything. I decided the Crobat's not the worst place I could have things. But yeah, it's funny because I feel like I watch people play this and they either hit the nuts or they did draw with Eternatus, and it's, never really an in-between. So here he comes with another Welder, further getting that Cinescorch ready to attack. And, at this point, I'll have given up 3 prizes. So maybe this isn't the game where the Hot Burn comes into play, because I think, when he's gone down to only needing 3 prizes, he probably would have been a little more mindful of the Hot Burn. Or I think what happens is he's mindful of it, but or he's not mindful of it, and he ends up costing himself the game by losing most of his energy attachments at this point. So we'll have to wait and see, because I really thought it was the second game where he just... Oh, that's right. He couldn't get the knockout on Eternatus. He was 20 damage shy. So that opened up like just a whole nother turn of being able to do something. I decided that it's time to go ahead and get like another ping on his bench Cinescorch. So now that Cinescorch, if it ever goes into the VMAX, I'm good to go to one-shot it, which feels good. So here we go. We finally find Eternatus VMAX. I go ahead and put it on the healthy one on the bench, opening up the plays a little bit. I've got the high darks on the active, so I can kind of move him out of the way when I'm ready to. I'm kind of just thinning my hand a little bit to, one, get the damage up by using that quick ball, as well as being able to draw some extra cards with Crobat. And every time I feel like I could have utilized his Hearth to grab an extra card, I'm like, man, I really should have. But, in the grand scheme of it, it didn't really matter, so, that's okay. So here we go. We're finally about to deal some damage to one of his Cinescorches. We want to Dread in for 240. I feel like I was like kicking myself for missing out on the 250, but I don't think, in the grand scheme of things, it ever mattered. So here he goes with the Hearth again. He gets the Eldegoss, grabs himself Marnie. He benches the Heatran. So maybe this is the game where he's going to go into that Heatran and take off like way too much energy not to get the knockout. I'm feeling a little better that I've got Eternatus in my hand, but I also feel really bad that it would end up sacking the Eternatus on the bench. So here's the switch, and yeah, this is the game where he definitely would have won if he had counted the 5 energy correct. He just said, man, I'm messing up. I missed my math tonight. But yeah, I mean, he really deserved to get this game just for how bad it was. I was kind of even of the impression too that he hadn't Hearthed yet and was hoping to just grab an extra energy and throw it on. And then I think when he plays that Turbo Patch, he realizes, ooh, I didn't count enough energy, so this is going to be real bad real fast. Um, but yeah, I think he hot burns. I take 300. I'm able to VMAX my other Eternatus, get the Dark City down. I think I'm going to go in for another Crobat here. More thinning the hands than anything. Yeah, see, there he goes. He realizes he misplayed, and even in his chat later, I was, I said I was wondering what you're doing, and I thought like he had some Galaxy Brain play about to happen that neither one of us could have ever imagined happening. And he's just like, no. And so this is kind of like the writing on the wall for him. I'm going to go ahead and take my 3 prizes on this Heatran. I power up the Crobat just because it seems like I'm going to need it for an attack at some point. Or no, I don't even knock out the Heatran. I just grab the Cinescorch that I've already damaged. I go into Crobat and I knock him out with the Venom Fangs. And this was a fun play where that 320 comes back to be relevant. He doesn't have a boss, so I think if I remember, he ends up like just steaming stomping with Heatran to get some damage on the Crobat. I retreat the Crobat, go in with Eternatus, and use Dread End again. This game was just silly. Like, we had such a good time discussing it after, where it's just like, man, can you believe how bad this all ended? And so yeah, he grabs my guy with 300, and he's like, let's just go ahead and Steaming Stomp. I think he may have been better to have grabbed my or no, this is where I keep messing up math, is that Steaming Stomp only does 130. He doesn't play anything like Choice Bands. Because like if he could have got the knockout on the one with 200, it would have been so much easier for his bench Cinescorch to finish off this 300 damage Eternatus on the next turn, versus anything else that he really could have done. So, he grabs a couple prizes, and I'm ready to go ahead and send up my Eternatus and capitalize on that misplay. Like I said, feel bad about it, but like I tell people all the time, like, you go into a tournament and somebody you play, or maybe you're going to be the person who inevitably misplays, and it costs you or the guy you're playing or yourself the game. And the thing you gotta remember is a win is a win. I hit into Heatran here. I wish I'd had something like here's the funny thing is I was at like a 0 card deck, so I had to play the Ordinary Rod just to get some cards back into the deck. If he had been able to get the Cinescorch, which he has, the Hearth, the Welder, and an attachment, he would have won here just as well. And I'm like, yeah, you messed up that damage, and yeah, you failed all your turbo patches, but yeah, I also like whiffed Eternatus 3 turns in a row, and I really just don't feel bad for you, because I think here it is where I have the options to knock out whatever. I think I'm out of bosses at this point. He can't get quite enough damage on there. Even if he had the Welder Hearth, he would have been fine, but he whiffs that. He bosses up Crobat. But as you can see in my hand, I have the Switch, I have Dark City, I have Dark Energy, I have the 7th Pokemon, or the 8th Pokemon be able to Dread in for 270. So, yeah, that was just all it was. So, yeah, I guess this is now where we get to the game where it feels like we actually played a real game. And even though it's only 7 minutes, it's like a pretty fast and furious game that I think kind of showcases what Eternatus does better than either of the last 2 games combined. Like I said, last game, we only got it because of a fluke. There was no good looking thing in that bit. And, he told me that he always likes to go second with this, but I'm like, let me just confirm. It takes a second, and the countdown starts, and like at 5 seconds, I'm like, yep, I'm just going to click, yes, I'm going first. And if he tells me later, I would have just passed the turn and, let him do his thing as if he had gone first. But yeah, here it goes at 5-second mark. I'm like, yeah, I kind of remember, or I wait till 2 seconds. And, he kind of plays like a build that's oriented on that first turn Volcanion. Yeah, so I say, I had to assume because of the timer, and he's going to be like, yeah, you were right. So yeah, here we go. I see you're thinking, like, this hand could have been okay if I had a Pokemon, because now I get the Eternatus VMAX. I'm able to switch it to just an Eternatus. I'm able to throw some energy on it, and turn 1 feels accomplished. Yeah, he says his deck always goes second because he focuses on the Flare starter attack, which, I think is fine. And, I told him I've watched his stream enough playing Since I knew that's kind of how he goes. I've seen the Jirachi builds. I've seen the Greens builds. So, I just like to make sure. I've started experimenting with the Eternatus going first, second a little bit. Like, even with ADP Z now, I kind of like to go second just because I can try to power accelerate onto a Sableye to kind of circumvent their Zamazenta plays. So I think here what he does is he bosses me, Radiant Heats off both of our energies, kind of negating my first turn. But you're seeing, like, he's just struggling to get going. So I think he goes into a Crobat here to try to keep fishing. And I'm just looking at my hand like, if I had, like, any better position, this was going to be the position that's just good for me. So, he has the Crobat. He tries a Turbo Patch. He fails it. I think he's something like 6 for 8 or something at this point in the match. Add 1 more to that, just, yeah, I'm like, you get no breaks on this one, man. He throws the balloon down in case he needs to retreat. So no, I guess he just goes to hit a Marnie's. I think he, like, we were talking, and he was hoping for the boss so that he could go ham on me. So here we are with Great Ball, which is great because it's burnable, Dark Sea because it's burnable, and Crobat because it's what I want. He drops the Radiating Heat. So now I'm going to spend this turn trying to get the 7 Pokemon or the Zigzagoons worth of damage to kind of help out there. And I was like, yeah, it hurt to even watch you have to play that hand. And I feel like I'm going to be okay in that regard, especially when I get this research. I grab another Eternatus to start building up. And I go ahead and Crobat, not giving him 2 extra cards this time because I'm feeling okay as it is. But yeah, this is going to hurt where I just have to discard 3 researches. But, I'm now at 6 Pokemon in play, and we're slowly getting closer and closer to dropping the Dread End on the Cinescorch. And I think here I just told him, that hurt too. Yeah, this will hurt. Watching my 2nd and 3rd Professor's Research hit the discard pile there. And again, we're still having a hard time finding the VMAX. And we're like, okay, well, we got a V, and I guess you get an extra turn. We didn't even get the energy, which was bad. So this is where Grimer comes in handy, just being able to collect and draw a couple extra cards. We're still not anywhere important, but next turn, if we don't get Marnie, we have Piers to grab the energy and the VMAX. And between Zigzagoons and the Eternatus in hand, we have enough to go ahead and finish off this Cinescorch. So yeah, this is the turn, though, where he Radiating Heats me, and I'm just like, oh, man. And he's got, like, the 2nd energy up there. So I think I kind of, like, resigned to just working on the Eternatus on the bench so I don't have to deal with the Radiating Heat for the next couple turns. I'm kind of thinking if that is his strategy, or no, I go back into the Grimer, and I don't know why I thought, playing onto the Eternatus with damage counters on it was, more important than whatever else. But here we go, grab the VMAX, we grab the Capture Energy. Oh, excuse me. Get some more bench spaces. And I'm like, well, let me just go ahead and throw down Eternatus that way. I try to get some more stuff going. And I collect, leaving me, like, plenty of options for next turn. I feel like, again, he's going to boss me, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to switch back again to play around it. Now, he either bosses me here or he welders and gets the knockout on the Grimer, and then he loses the Cinescorch. But yeah, I think this is where he grabs the boss again and he clears off the energy. So no, this is not the game where, I think last game may have just been the one where it felt like it was fairly well played, but still, I think like when he realizes I have like the switch out of Eternatus into Grimer again, I think he just concedes. And, you know, I can't really blame him. He's sitting here watching me continue to build up. He's missing anything important. No, there was not a particular reason why the non-V turn just got the capture energy that turn, other than I think I finally had the revelation of why I put the energy on the damaged guy. We go ahead and collect here, and let's see. Yeah, I just said this whole game is painful. I think like our second game was probably the one where I thought we went like the most back and forth, even though that wasn't terribly back and forth. Because this one, I think he's got nothing and he just has to scoot because he knows I'm just going to start running Ramshackle on him next turn with the Dark and everything. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully you give our friend Nick at Good Vibes a chance to watch his stream if you're ever on when he's streaming. Anyway, you guys have a good night, and we'll see you next time.